this is Frogman, and welcome back to Satisfactory. Last episode, we got a little bit of exploring done and got a bunch of recipes and some hard drives and had a little bit of fun. And as far as I am aware, at least at this point, I don't have a bobblehead because it's been at least 2 or 3 weeks since. Let's just check. Yeah, okay. Our head's back to being normal size, which means the doggos are little and the beans are big. So, awesome. That also means likely that the pigs are just fine. But anyhow, fun times were had. I did enjoy that a little bit. It's one of those things you kind of got to do once in a while when you're busy building things, is to just get out. It's, you know, one of the reasons why I do actually really like this game is because you actually get to go out and explore and kind of fight and battle and do a few things. So with the addition of our brand new friends, these wonderful belts right here, actually I think these are the wrong ones, right? Is that the right one? That's the wrong one. Give me a second. I need to look. The Mark IV conveyor belts, we're now capable of passing 480 resources per minute, both in a horizontal and vertical line. Now, we also got a couple other things that we didn't mention last episode, and I kind of want to talk about them because we're going to kind of start figuring out how we're going to use them. That's what all that mess is over there. Part of the reason why we did a little bit of the work was so that we might be able to actually start doing a little bit more work with oil and a couple of other things. So I did do a little bit of automation. Let's just touch on that really quickly. I went ahead and fired the, whatever these things are called, the automated wiring conveyor belt kit thingy back up and got them plugged into that little manufacturer. And if you look in the bottom right hand corner of that little line of stuff, you'll notice that we have 50 of a certain specific thing. Now, I'm pretty sure I didn't make a mention that I also did complete the modular engines, or at least I might have said that a while back, and we've got them sorted. So we're 100 items away from moving into tier 7 and tier 8 as far as the space elevator is concerned. And those 100 items have been automated for, I don't know, a little while. This I kind of did after we did the little messing around last episode. So there's been a couple of additions to our automations that we needed. The first thing being I went ahead and automated the high-speed connectors because we managed to get a few of those going. We unlocked them in the MAM, and these are going to allow us to do a few things as far as build better power poles. Those will also allow us to get the programmable splitters. Those will let us do a few things. I probably won't ever need more than a full storage container of those things in any given time. So that's all we're ever going to make, I believe. So that's why this is sitting up here. This I'm going to leave sit until we're ready to do something else with it, and we'll kind of mess around and go on. So one of the things we haven't touched on yet, I guess what we can go do, let's just go ahead and knock this little thing out since we're pretty well done with everything. Hello, hub. I moved it out of the corner. I got tired of playing with it. Let's give this thing the 100 things that it needs so that we can get into tier 7 and tier 8 and be done with the space elevator. Episode 13. One more time. Bye-bye, sir. Alrighty then. Now, the core of the discussion that we've seen a few times is, like I've said, about just getting things automated and getting them finished. In the top right-hand corner, notice the numbers to complete Phase 4. Now, completing Phase 4 doesn't get you any more technology. It's the kind of those of you that have played Factorio, your space science kind of a section, or, you know, some of the other things that continuously go, you know, you're just going to continuously use parts and pieces to make things. So it's kind of like the Satisfactory at least has two kind of end game situations, at least at this point, even though we're still in early access and we're still kind of just playing whatever they want us to play. So you have all of those parts pieces up there that you get to make, which means we have to unlock all of those parts pieces. And we also have the ability to make as many tickets as we want to make when we get to certain things so that we can kind of end that game too. Now, some really cool things that we can buy with the tickets, and there's some really cool things that we're going to mess around with. So let's go back upstairs, because I shouldn't have come down here, and go look in the hub. I need to go look and see what we have in the hub, because we should actually have a point now where we can have a little bit of fun doing some more stuff. We might be able to unlock some more technology. And, well, in this next level, there's some of the most complex parts in the actual game that's available. So this is when it actually gets kind of fun. So we do need to do this. I actually have stuff ready to do that. We'll go ahead and do that here in just a second. Tier 7 is going to give us Bauxite Refinement, which is going to be the basis of aluminum and alumina. We're not going to fool with any of the recipes because just like we did last episode, I'm going to go out and go find a whole bunch more stuff as far as recipes are concerned because this process can be reduced considerably by a couple of special recipes. Logistics Mark V, which is going to be the next basic belt part, is going to require a bunch of the aluminum that we're going to get from this mess, so we're not going to be able to touch that. Hazmat suits are important if you want to deal with nuclear. We may play with nuclear, we may not. Probably not. This is a lot of fun. Drones especially are a little bit of fun to play with. We may play with those as we go. And hover packs, of course. As soon as I get any kind of aluminum, we're going after hover pack because I'm overly tired of trying to build with the way that we build. This is probably going to be the first thing we're going to buy once we build all of the aluminum alclad sheets that we need. Tier 8. Tier 8 is where all the fun stuff really gets into going. So we have the nuclear power stuff plus the magnetic field generators and massive, awesome, crazy amounts of power. Total royal pain in the tail. This is another one of those we'll probably, if we need it, we'll play with it. If not, I'm not going to sweat it. It's unnecessary at the size of a base that I'm planning on building, at least for the amount of power that we're going to get. The power we're going to provide is probably going to be coming off of other things. This section in here is some more ways to get more resources. This is another very, very important thing to be looking at once you get these resource well pressurizers and the resource well extractors, because in order to be able to finish the game for at least finish building the whatever these things are up here, they're called nuclear pasta, you need to be able to at least attain certain things. Now, we're not going to worry about those right now, but we are going to kind of worry about trying to get towards some of this kind of fun stuff, which is minor Mark IIIs. They're as fast as you can go. They can basically flood a tier 3 or tier 6 belt. This one. Where is it? This one. That one right there, tier 5. They can completely flood that tier 5 belt with resources and still have space left over inside them. So we can have a lot of fun making a whole lot of parts. For right now, we can't do a whole heck of a lot of anything other than I think I wanted to go ahead and unlock that jetpack because I do believe I left some parts over here. We have some in-between episode stuff to look at, and we have some things to go do some other stuff. Where did I put it? It's right there. Okay, cool. I did in between episodes go ahead and research the rifle and the rifle cartridge. Neither of those are very expensive as far as stuff in the MAM, and the next time we go out and play, we'll actually have a real gun to play with. So let's get this sucker out and I'll show you kind of how much fun it is. They are a royal pain. Can I have the gun in that hand, please? Thank you. Go ahead, load it up. It's fine. Cool. Now, I'm not shooting this thing, but they're basically like a very small machine gun that can shoot quite a few things very quickly, and they do a decent amount of damage. They are a pain in the butt to make ammunition for, so we're not going to use them until we utterly need them. The ammunition specifically requires beacons to be made, so I'm assuming we're firing beacons at things. It's one of the reasons why you get the easier beacon recipe later on. So the other thing that we did, I guess, is the fuel tanks. So I went ahead in between episodes and I went and just kind of set up a very teeny tiny fuel processing plant over where we're doing our plastic and rubber, and I got us some fuel. So now what we should be able to go do, I think we need rubber, right? I think it's motors. How many motors have we got on us? Grab some more motors. Grab some more rubber. Oh yeah, I forgot I moved it. It's over here. Cool. All right, nice. So we're going to do a little catching up on a couple of things as far as things go around here, and then we're going to start talking about doing some more better logistics, and we're going to start playing around with what I've got laid up over there. So let's get us a jetpack so we can at least get some vertical access to things. I believe that's all I need, please. Thank you. Give it all. Plastic, rubber, and fuel. Gimme.
R&D inflated your pocket dimension and has provided a jetpack, which operates on oil-based fuel, for increased navigational capabilities as well as odds of survival.
Let's see. What does it take to make that thing? I think we got to make it down here, right? Let's see. Turn the light on so we can see what's going on. Jetpack is buildable. Go ahead. Let's get one. Actually, no. We'll make two since we have the parts on us. Okay, cool. Now, just so we're looking at it, rifle cartridges, or at least this recipe of rifle cartridges, require a beacon, steel pipe, black powder, and I think that's rubber, and you get 5 of each for each one of those things. Never mind the fact that a beacon is still a 4-part process, and the fact that the black powder requires 2 or 3 different things plus of all that stuff. It's one of the most expensive kind of things in the game, and for that matter, something I probably will not use a lot until we decide we want to build an ammunitions factory. So I'm going to put a couple of these away. From now on, we're going to keep at least 150 stuff on us at all times. Actually, go ahead and put these in the tool box. So we'll do 200 on us plus an extra in case we fall. Fall damage is not reduced by these things. So when you take those off, you can fall and hurt yourself. But it's the same thing as any good old jetpack. It's a hold the spacebar button down and see what happens. Or, and then the big or is, if you're finding you're having a hard time getting up to a specific height while playing with it, don't hold the spacebar down. Tap it. You will use a quarter of the fuel and go the same amount of distance. The fun part about is you can now travel quite a long distance, especially if you use, and we'll do it just as for an example here, give me one of these, put you down, and then do, that's a 4, yeah, we'll go this direction just for fun, and do it about right there. You can really, I think that's the right direction. I hope it's facing the right direction. Come on. Travel a long ways if you really want to. So they're really good, but they do cost a little bit of time. And again, fall damage is not minimalized, so you have to make sure you don't hit the ground at a high rate of speed, or else you'll hurt yourself. So let's go back upstairs real quick, and we'll go talk about those refineries. Ow. Okay, so let me get something in my hands that's not so crazy. Yes, I should go buy the coffee cup. I'm not a coffee cup person. I mean, I drink coffee in real life. Why should I be carrying a coffee cup around in game? But I guess that's the way it works. So, fun times are going to be had fairly soon because we're going to have to start talking about making massive amounts of power to be able to run some of the stuff that I plan on building. So part of the fun thing about trying to get this to go is that we'll get this to go, is that we've been busy cramming stuff into the awesome sink so that we can make tickets for the awesome shop so we can buy some of the stuff that's in the awesome shop. And one of the end game things, or should say one of the end game things that I am concerned about doing is trying to get all of the trophies. Now, the trophies, I believe, cost you about, what, 2,000 tickets maybe total, plus everything else that you've already bought. So at the point in time we're at right now, our tickets are costing us a pretty decent amount of power. So actually, power stuff. Let's see how much we have at this point. So our current ticket count is 1,000,000 points for each ticket, and we're currently making around 127,000. And this number is just bouncing all over the place because I am slowly but surely just adding stuff to the system. And in order to be able to do it, I love how it gets all goofy when we're kind of just outside. Go ahead, land, you're fine. But we've been slowly just cramming some of our most expensive pieces of stuff into the system. And what I want to do is I want to kind of at least start trying to pick a thing or 2 or 10 that we can build and continuously cram into that system. And in order to be able to do it, we need a lot of power. So the first major step in power, come on game, quit being so flaky. the major step in power, if up from coal power, is going to be something we didn't talk about last time, or the time before last when we unlocked some stuff, which is the fuel generators. Now, fuel generators are monsters. They're gigantic, but they make a lot of power. They make 150 megawatts each of power. Now, I believe that's a quarter or a third of what a nuclear power plant will make, but nuclear power plants come with their own painful problems, which when we get to that point we may talk about it. So fuel generators are where we're going to step next. And of course, I'm not going to make it the easy way, or we're not going to run them the easy way. That's why this stuff is all sitting here. So let's go over this really quickly. Last episode we got some stuff. We got turbo fuel and packaged turbo fuel. Now, a lot of people tend to mess with this and say it's one of the greatest things in the game as far as things go. I'm going to do it mainly because of the fact that I can run a ungodly amount of generators on turbo fuel. So let's kind of step through the process. We got the special one, which is the fuel and compressed coal into turbo fuel recipe. As far as my opinion goes, that's the best one out of the whole mess, because of the fact that we got diluted. Let me get out of here. Hey, don't do that. Because we got diluted, fuel. Do that way. It's not being smart. So packaged fuel, diluted packaged fuel. That recipe right there. That recipe right there allows you to basically skip an entire step and double your fuel using just water. And the entire step that you're basically skipping is you're taking oil and you're basically removing a couple of steps here. All we need at that point right there is the heavy oil residue. Well, those are the current recipes that we have as far as things to go, which means if we notice down on the very bottom, it says 3 oil into 4 heavy oil residue equal, and to that the little, those things, we can just forget about them. So right off the bat, we're going to get more heavy oil residue than we normally would have had we messed with any one of those other 2 recipes. So if you take 3 heavy oil residue, you're going to get 3 oil, you're going to get 4 heavy oil residue. Well, if you take 1 heavy oil residue and mix it with 2 water bottles, you're going to get 2 fuel, which is considerably better than this recipe. Notice the 6 into 4, or the 6 into 4. That 6 into 4 up top, we may use that eventually anyway, because there's a couple other little recipes that go along. This diluted fuel recipe is one of the best, craziest recipes in the game when it comes to power. So with all of that said and done, we've got our fuel, we've got our packaged fuel, we've got our turbo fuel, and we've got a couple of things. So the issue is, and I don't know if I can show it, I guess we got to go get a little bit of what? Rubber to show it? We're going to have to work. This whole mess up here is another discussion entirely. I'd forgotten I'd laid that out. The turbo fuel thing is fairly simple. That up there is another monster project. But again, like I said, these things are humongous and they're expensive to build, to the point that I think I'm actually going to have to go outside of the base to put one down. Let's go over here and see if we have enough room to put one of these down so we can actually look at it, so I can show you guys what I mean. It's something we can't really do. Hello, doggo. At least you're the normal size anymore. So let's see. Click, go, fuel generator. Is there enough room right here? I need quick wire. Give me quick wire. There's some right here. Give me quick wire. One of these days we'll play with you guys too. Maybe. Maybe. I don't know. That's a whole nother animal that I really don't feel like messing around with, literally. Fuel generator. It is a gigantic thing. They take up a reasonably large amount of space. They're very loud, and they have a little thing that they don't tell you in here at all. However, I kind of generally know what the information is. Reasoning why I want to play with turbo fuel is that turbo fuel burns in these things at a rate of 1/3 what the normal fuel will burn at. So when you make fuel generators, you're going to be limited to the amount of the oil node that you're planning on using, as well as the amount of coal and sulfur that you can get. So our first major project for this new thing is going to be, we need to come up with an area that we're going to build a compacted coal processing plant facility area thing. And if I go like this, I already know where a lot of that stuff is. Can I just hide this menu, please? The thing is I want to put my oil processing plant, or I should say the plant for this, where we're going to do this, I want to put it kind of out here away. So I think it's time for us to kind of start maybe thinking about using trains to do a little bit of our logistics now that we have the ability to do it. And trains are going to be how we're going to transport power from one location to another. So what I want to do is I'm going to go ahead and we're going to knock out a platform up there. We're going to start building a work train, and we're going to head straight to where I want to start building our stuff. So let's get some stuff together and get a platform together up top and maybe some easy access to it, and I will be back with you guys. All right, as stated, we're going to build it up in the air a little bit, so I think I'm going to go get us some kind of something up there so I can get a kind of an idea of what I want to do. So what do you want to do? How you want to do it? Let's do... Gimme walls. Any old basic wall. Do the thing. You have the thing. I want it... We'll say right there. And then... No, I don't think I'm going to do that just yet. We're going to do this. We can always paint them for something else. Now, train stations are huge. And that's one of the biggest problems with them, is that they're really, really big. And I'm hoping that what we're going to do is we're going to kind of cover this center section over with that kind of stuff there, and that's going to be what it's going to look like, and we can support it. It's not going to be tall enough, but that should be good enough. What I'm hoping is to clear those manufacturers, and I don't think we did. Let's go check. I don't think I'm going to worry about, you know, too much taller than that, but I do... Yeah, I do want to clear the manufacturers. So how tall do we need to be to clear one of these things? Four or five? Okay, so 4. Not that I'm really worried about height restrictions. I just don't want to be, you know, doing a lot of belt work that's really, really, really ridiculously tall. So we need to go 4 tall from this point. So go away. Go away. Nope, go away. Give me that. 1, 2, 3, and 4. And then that can get gotten away rid of. Cool. And we'll go back down here. Out. To the edge of here. Like that. All right. And then you need to go that way. No, not down. Crap. I know what I did. Let go. No. Keep going. There. I know that's going to make it dark down here. We're going to end up changing that out for some decent stuff. So let's go play up there now that I can't get out of here. Where is it? Give me my new toy. We'll put some hyper tubes up here. All right, so train station number 1. These are where the pain point comes for trains. These things are gigantic and easily the largest thing you're going to have to play with in the game next to the space elevator. What I want to do, thank you autosave, you have to pay attention to where the arrow is pointed, so we're going to just kind of toss one down for right now just so we can kind of fool with it. I want to make sure that this is kind of easily centered on a platform. Can I keep going? No. Okay, so we're going to use that platform as a central location. Bang. The thing that really sucks about trains is once you build a track down, you have to remove the track in order to put the train station down. So that's one of the real pain points that comes with trains. They're also, like I said, they what is that? 1, 2, 3, 4 wide, I believe. Is it 4 exactly? Quit wiggling. 4 and a bit. 4 and a bit. Love it. So in order to be able to get the trains in and out of here, we're going to end up overlapping to some of these areas to a degree. But what we're going to start with, I believe at least, is we're going to build us at least a starter platform that we can kind of play with. So the extra platforms, they have various things that work with them. You basically just snap them onto the end of it. So what I want to do is I want to kind of start working a support train out. Now, you don't have to have these on here, but what we're probably going to end up doing is feeding in parts from the base that we need in order to be able to hook things up. So now what we do is we find some power. Where's the power connector on you, my friend? Because what we're going to do is we're just going to take this and we're going to go like that with it. And we're going to go up and down and around corners and all those kinds of fun things and wonderful stuff. But there'll be a road out there by the time we get to that point. What we're going to do here is we're going to double this up so that we can have a train on both ends, because this is going to be our work train to build the fuel station that we're going to be playing with. So I want a locomotive on this end facing this way. High, and I want what am I doing? I made a list, and I want 2 of these. 1, 2, and then another electric locomotive to go that way. That means this is a double head. Well, it can go both directions on the same track, and I think it only uses one of the engines. So what I'm going to do now is I am going to take the next however long it takes for me to get to where I want to go to get some track laid out, and this is going to probably take a bit of work. So do I have a car to ride back? Do I have fuel on me? I do. All right, well, I'm going to go build track, and we're going to go. Track is a pain. Well, I should say track is a pain. We'll touch on track when we get to where we need to touch on track. Just know for right now, it's a lot of steel. Okay, now this is where you're going to see me deviate from a lot of people, and hence the reasoning why we built the base the way we did, and we faced a foundation the way that we did, is because of the fact that I don't care to build on a general grid for the game, hence the reason why you see everything's kind of off. So what I will do with train tracks is I will at least try to maintain decent-looking corners. So what you do when you want a decent-looking corner is if you get to a spot where you kind of want to go diagonal, like say I want to kind of go that, actually I think we're going to back up one. Let's see, can we clear? I want to clear that rock, so let's go ahead and back up one more. We're going to go right around the corner and then up the river. So what I want to do is I want to make a corner that's going to look kind of decent. So if you grab, and this is the stock way of doing it as far as standard for Satisfactory. I want to kind of go on a 45-degree angle that direction, away from where this is already sitting. Meaning it's still going to kind of be that way, but it's still be on a grid, at least a grid I can find, because if I pay attention to things. So if you take whatever you just laid down and you press just lay the foundation on top and then hold the control key, you can rotate it in any varying degrees. I believe it's like 2 or 3 degrees. But if I just want a 45-degree angle, if I just line the point up with the center of the original one, then delete it, then put one underneath of it like this, delete that one, and then line this up, I know it kind of looks janky, but I now have an angle that I can play with. So then what I can do there is do this and delete this one if I don't like the Z fighting. That'll give me an angle to play with that I can then do this. Now, the reason why we're stopping right here is because I'm not quite so certain we're still going to clear it. We didn't. Okay, cool. We need to go over probably several more. So let's delete this. Do that again. Pick it up. Control. Drop. That. And I'm just making sure I don't fall down by doing this. It's okay as far as everything else is concerned. Let's see what we get here. That's one of the beauties I love of this mod, is that now I can draw a straight line and see whether or not I'm going to miss anything. Again, this is going to be our work railroad. This is going to be the one we're going to use to get over to where we need to get to. Likely will not be permanent, at least for right now. I will probably start working on a permanent solution once we start building other monster rail systems elsewhere. So I think I'm going to do that. Now, one thing I want to touch on when we're standing right here while that's building is the pain that is pretty rails, or at least nice looking rails. Straight lines, easy. Straight lines are just attach it to a spot, kind of like, you know, find a spot in the middle of a foundation, kind of like that, and then drag it forward. And as long as you stay in a central spot in the rail will stay straight. As long as you stay centrally located to where you get to these. When you can, no, don't do that. Stop. When you screw up is when you want to go around a corner, because corners will cause the rails to act a little dumb. The best option for when you're going to go around a corner, say we're coming in from this direction over here. Let's grab a little bit of a distance on a rail here. So we go like so. Best thing that I have found to do while playing this mess is to do this. Find yourself a spot while you're still running nice and straight, and then come back at least 2 foundations from the center of the intersection. So at least 2 foundations, at least, or, you know, foundation and a half. I like to do at least 2, and then that gives me a little bit of room to play. Because if I try to say here and then go that direction with it, notice what happens. It doesn't, well, for one, it's not working because we didn't put anything down. So let's put it right here and then do this and try to make this corner look nice. Well, you're going to look nice. You're going to be fine. It'll make it around the corner, but watch the straight front part of that rail. Right there, it's straight. Right there, it's straight. But if you go just a little further, it's not straight. Or right behind it, it's not straight. The line that connects to that right there, once you put this down and then do it again, this rail is going to have a willy woggle in it that it's going to keep, and it's a real world word, trust me, I've used it forever. It will have a wiggle in it that it will keep forever. I mean, you can just barely see it right here, how this one side is behind the line and this side is in front of the line. That means the next piece is going to sit here and do this S-curve the entire time. All right, now that we've seen how we don't want to do this part, what we want to do is we want to have nice straight rails after the curve. And that is the part that gets to be kind of a pain in the butt, which is the reasoning why you kind of want to stop ahead of a, well, basically when you're coming into a curve, this doesn't matter whether it's a right angle, a 45, any kind of a weird curve at all. Stop your track about, like I said, about a foundation and a half or 2 foundations away from the corner. So we're going to do, I think we can get away with a foundation and a half on this one because it's a 45. We're going to stop our track right there. So I have a foundation and a half. Then what I'm going to do is I'm going to go through the corner. I'm going to go a foundation and a half ahead of it, start and just run it long enough that I got a straight piece of track. This track is straight. So then all I have to do is connect, gimme, that to here. Then I can delete this track and run this as long as I want to go that way. And the corner and the rest of the track will be straight until the next time I need to make a corner. Pretty simple, pretty easy, huh? Track is straight. Corner looks great. And for that matter, I can probably shorten this one up a little bit. We could probably just do a foundation, which means I could go to the center. But I kind of like nice, long, sweeping corners for trains because they don't slow down. So I'm going to go pull some track. Alrighty then. So we got ourselves a little bit of a kind of a starter spot to play around with, and we're currently just to the side of the northern forest over here on the map. And I don't know why the map's not showing up. I guess I probably need to go set up another one of those little scanning dealer thingies. I guess we can do that while we're standing here, and it can do that kind of stuff. Did we ever unlock that? I don't know. Anyhow, we're just on the edge of the northern forest to the southern edge of it, where there is a rather large lake in between it and the pink forest up here, that spooky place. We'll deal with it. We'll have to go up in there and do a bunch of stuff. So the reason why I'm up here is because of the fact there's a whole lot of water right here, and there's oil in several different places. Now, with the opening of tier 7 and 8, we got the pressurized well system, which is a completely different way of working things, which means we have another pile of oil. Now, I happen to know, again, that there's a whole bunch of that stuff up this air, but there's also a bunch right here. So, in this little section, there are 2 normal nodes and a pure node that are capable total altogether to be producing right around 1,200 oil per minute, and all that stuff's over there. We'll jump down here, we'll take a look at this. This area is usually pretty spooky. There's a lot of nasty stuff, plus there's gas, plus there's a bunch of stuff. And yeah, we're right underneath the nasty spider forest up there, so we're going to kind of just not really be too stupid and try to go up there. There's also a whole bunch of slugs I haven't accumulated yet and a whole bunch of other fun stuff. But again, there's 1,200 oil here once you completely, I guess I can remove these now that I don't have them anymore. There's also a reason why I know this is all over here, and again, we've been here, is because there's a cargo pod right over there. So this crude oil node, once I put an oil extractor on it, and we give it a full accompaniment of power shards, will give us 300 oil per minute, meaning half a tier 2 pipe. Now, if I come over here, and I don't know how and the reasoning why, I forgot you. Hello, friend. You can be our mascot for this area. There's another oil deposit right here that will do, once fully loaded, 600, or a full tier 2 pipe. So we have all the oil we're ever going to need over here to do any kind of power that we think we're going to want to play with. So let's kind of do the little bitty silly maths that go with that. I think this is the other one that's right here. Yeah, they're all right next to each other, which is really kind of nice. Plus, like I said, there's several other little resources around. There's copper, there's iron, there's sulfur. Not sulfur. Sulfur actually is kind of far away. So we're going to have a little bit of fun doing the turbo fuel part, which means likely what we're going to do is spend a bit of time building the actual fuel part here, which is why I want to be up here, because there is just all the water we're ever going to need right here, water. So let's see, can we get this over with? Come on, autosave. Thank you. All the water we're ever going to need is right here. So, I mean, we've got water clear out to the end of the thing, so that if we even need to decide we have to set up some kind of other train system for water, we've got it. Right just over the hill is where we were last episode. Just right around the corner is where one of my old bases is from right here. So I know this area reasonably well as far as what we want to do in it. And, you know, it's a good place to build a few things. So let's do the math. Let's do the math on this, and we'll actually try to make it make a little bit of sense before we end the episode as to why we're going to build this. I've got a lot of resource gathering to do. Notice the parts numbers and things that are going to be on this. It's going to get really expensive very quickly. But let's do the math for 600 oil per minute. 600 oil per minute. We're going to use the alternate heavy oil residue recipe, which is going to be a 30 into 40, meaning we're going to gain an extra whatever that is number. You guys they're smart with math, can be doing those kinds of things. But let's do it like this. If we take 600, we divide that by 30, that's going to give us 20 refineries. 20 refineries times 40 is going to be 800 oil. So we've already got 800 of that kind of stuff. Plus, and the other thing is, plus, we end up with a bunch of polymer resin. Now, polymer resin is kind of more or less unnecessary to us, but we can use polymer resin to do, well, maybe we need to do a little bit more plastic, or maybe we need to do a little bit more rubber, something like that. We've got a lot of oil here, and it doesn't take a whole lot to do either one of those two. Plus, we can then just, either that or we can just shove it into an awesome sink. It doesn't really matter. We are going to have to deal with it, but we can get rid of it. So with those numbers, we got 800 heavy oil residue. So if we click out of here, we go to heavy oil residue into alternate diluted packaged fuel, which means we're going to take heavy oil residue, we're going to mix it with a lot of water, and we're going to end up with 60 per minute. So 800 divided by 30, then times 60. 800 divided by 30, which is 20. Okay, got you there. Whoop, nope, don't hit that button. And 260 times, nope. Period, incorrect spot, times 60 is going to be 1,600 fuel per minute. Done. Because the packagers, this kind of stuff, the package fuel translates into the same thing. So regardless of the fact, I'm going to have to sit here and listen to you make noise. Dude, that's going to be the only problem, is listening to these guys make all the noise in the world. So at that point, what we can do is we'll have 1,600 fuel per minute. If you wanted to just stop right there, 1,600 fuel per minute, convert it straight into fuel generators. So 1,600 divided by, 12, I think is the number at 100%. No, 12, not 14, 12. So that's how much they use per minute is 12. You'll have 133.3 or 133 and a third generators making, 133.33 times 150 megawatts is almost 20,000 megawatts just in fuel generators. Now, I understand how big that is. I understand how massive that will be. That is just an ungodly amount of them. I've already built that many in my other playthroughs. I've already done this before. Usually, that's enough. You see those 4,000 numbers up there in the corner? I want to be able to make those things with a reasonable amount of speed when the time comes, which means we're going to be rebuilding the entire factory. Every bit of it's going to get rebuilt. Somewhere on the map, we're going to drop some more stuff. This is when my Satisfactory game is going to start getting busy. The reasoning why I want to play with this number here is the fact that if I take that fuel and add some compacted coal to it, I will get a smaller, yes, honest, I get you, smaller amount of turbo fuel. But that turbo fuel is going to do something for us that's really amazing. Fuel generators only need 5 of it per minute to run. So if we take 22 out of that whatever number that we said we had, we need, 22.5 and 18.75. So if I hit the button here and I say 1,600 and I divide that by 22.5, that'll be 71. 71. 71. We'll just do it at 71. 71 times 18.5 is 1,313. That's interesting, 1,313. But if we divide that number, just 1,313 by 5, that's 262.6 fuel generators, making almost 40,000 megawatts. So double the fun for the exact same amount of stuff. All we have to do is get a little bit of coal and a little bit of sulfur. Are we going to build it that big? Well, the other reason why I came up here is mainly because of the simple fact that is, I know what all this area looks like without all the trees on it. It's pretty stinking flat. So if I really felt like it, I can cover all of the northern forest, or at least most of it, with fuel generators. And I think that's probably what we're going to start working on in the next episode. So thank you guys so much for watching. We're going to go ride the train back, and I'm going to start loading up on parts, and I will see you all in the next one. Hang out. It's kind of a neat train ride.